if you asked 100 different photographers or 100 different small business owners how they started their business, you're gonna get 100 different answers. So I'm gonna tell you how I started mine, and then I'm gonna tell you if I had to restart from scratch today, the exact steps that I would do to build my photography business. If this is your first time seeing me, my name is Ben Markham. I am a professional headshot, portrait, and boudoir photographer based in Louisville, Kentucky. I started my photography business in 2013, and at that point, I really had no idea on what I was doing with starting a business. So I started out with a whole bunch of mistakes, and I did the thing that a lot of photographers do and based my business decisions on things that I was seeing on social media. And unfortunately, a lot of those things were in groups where people would post things like, looking for a family photographer who doesn't charge an arm and a leg. And then you would see just comments and comments of photographers going in and going, yep, I'll photograph your family. I'll do this for $150 or whatever. And so it got into my head that, okay, that's what the market will bear is $150. Right out of the gate, that was wrong. Also, at that point, I made some broad assumptions without having information. So I assumed that to run a successful photography business, you had to photograph families and do the thing out in the park with people making hand hearts and stuff. I assumed that you would have to do weddings. I assumed that you would have to do babies where they stack the babies up in little poses that I don't know how to do. And that's how I started. And I went after all of those things. And if you'd gone through my social media and my website, you wouldn't have had any idea what I actually do. Eventually, I had this brainstorm moment. Before being a photographer, I worked in professional theater. I was a sound designer for 20 years. I'd been around the theater industry for a large chunk of my life. And so it hit me as like, headshots. I've been around them with actors. I know what those look like. Let's go do headshots. And I also made the assumption at that time, and this would be a whole other video, that how hard can headshots be? It's just head and shoulders. If you don't know, to do them and to do them really well is fairly difficult. And before anybody runs to the comments to be, it's not that hard. If it's not that hard, there wouldn't be that many bad ones. Again, that's a whole other video. So I did a little market research and saw that there was really nobody in Louisville, in my hometown, specializing in headshots, professional headshots and acting headshots. There were photographers who did them, but they also did weddings and families and all these other things, which is fine, but nobody was specializing. And so I went, that's for me. That's what I'm gonna do. So I locked in my focus to be the headshot guy in my region. And it worked. Like so much so that at one point I was at the airport getting on a plane to go to a convention, and the person checking me in was like, hey, you're the headshot guy. So building that reputation, becoming the go-to person in my craft set me up to get more customers, for people to go, oh, you need a headshot, Ben is who you go see. And I shoot a very specific headshot style, or at least the bread and butter of my headshot style is very specific. I do a few other things as well. But if you were to go to my website, you'll see that I shoot very much a Peter Hurley style of headshot. The reason for that is because I studied with Peter Hurley and I'm a mentor in his program. That part of the story, while it shaped how my business went, it's not the main part of the story. I built a market in this town. Have copycats come along? Sure, and that's fine. There's more than enough heads in this town to do, but I saw an opportunity in the market and I took it. Once I got that part of the business going and I felt very comfortable with it, my portrait and my boudoir style started to come in. But I wasn't trying to build all of those things at once. I selected to be very, very niche and then expand. Now to this day, I'm still very niche. I only do professional and acting headshots, portrait work and boudoir work in my style. Like I don't go to parks. I don't do a lot of portraits on location or anything like that. I am known for my style of photography. And now 13 years into running my business, it's working very well for me. Now, along the way in that journey, I had successes. I also had a lot of failures just because of things that I didn't know. I learned a lot of things on the fly, both on my own and from working with mentors. So let me walk you through the things that if I had to restart today, the exact things that I would do to build my business as quickly as possible. As I just stated in the first bit, the first thing that I would do would be decide on my niche or decide on my style. This is what I'm going to do. The reason I would start there is it's so much easier for people who are going to book you to know exactly what they're going to be getting. So I locked in on the Peter Hurley style first and dialed in on that so that as I was approaching people, I could very easily go, I do this. And they could look at my website or they could look at my social media and go, okay, that's what I'm getting? Awesome. If I put 4, 5, 6 different styles of things all over my website, when somebody goes to book me, they're not gonna necessarily think, oh, I need to tell them I want this or I want this. They're gonna look at that and go, I don't know what I'm gonna get if I give you money. So I made the decision process very, very simple. The next thing I would do would be set my pricing. A big mistake that I see a lot of photographers and small business owners make is they don't run their numbers and they just set a price very low, assuming that if they have a low price, people are going to book them, are going to buy from them. And that's not necessarily the case. And I could do a whole other video on pricing, and if you want that, let me know, I'll do it. But there's some rules that you just need to keep in mind. One, there's a pricing psychology. So people value what they pay for. So an example that I always give is the bag of sugar sort of reference. So like if you go to the grocery, I'm gonna pull numbers out of air because I don't know what sugar costs off the top of my head, so bear with me. But you go to the baking aisle and there is the generic store brand bag of sugar. It's a white bag, black writing that says sugar, and it's $3. And then next to it is the fancy name brand sugar, and it's multicolor packaging and different fonts, and it looks really pretty, and it's $6 for the bag. A lot of people, myself included, have had the moment where they go, $6 one must be better. It's sugar. It's the same thing, but there's a part of our brain that goes, if I'm paying more for it, it's better. The same goes with pricing your services. So when I started, I had no idea how to set pricing. So I would do a headshot session for $150, and I would say that I would include up to 4 hours, which is insane, and I would include 4 images in that. The only way that becomes a successful business is by photographing so many people a year that you have zero life. The other thing that I experienced at that price point was the customers that I was attracting weren't always the best customers, and let me explain that. $150 with 4 images is a steal for a customer for a headshot session. What would happen is in those moments, a lot of people would then try to still get a bigger deal. They would go, well, I know you're including 4 images, but what if I only need 2 or whatever? So that anything that they could do to try to get the price lower when it was already rock bottom low. At my current prices, where I am priced out at what it takes to actually run a business and for me to have a life, people don't try to beat my prices down. They just hand me their card. And included in the pricing conversation is also sales. A big thing that you have to understand in running a photography business is you are also in sales. So you are selling the sessions, you are selling the product. A majority of what we do is actually sales. So I recommend digging deep into any sales seminars, sales books, talk to people who sell for a living and learn that psychology. If you can't sell, you won't have a photography business. And then as you're just getting started, the next thing you need to do is you need to shoot a portfolio. The next thing you have to have a successful business is a portfolio. You have to be able to show people what it is that you sell, what it is that you shoot. In the beginning, that may mean bringing in family and friends and people who are close in your circle to photograph them, sometimes for free, to get that body of work built up so you can show paying clients what it is that you do. A little tip to when you're photographing people for free is set a value to it. So you can let them know, if I was doing this with you as you were a paying client, this would cost XYZ. And the reason is, if people think that something's just free, they don't value it. They don't take it as seriously. If you put a number value to it, then they go, oh, this has value, and they'll take it more seriously. And let me also be clear, you don't have to be the best photographer to start a photography business. I wasn't, and I also don't believe in fake it till you make it. What I do believe in is do the best that you can do right now. So shoot the best portfolio that you can shoot today. And in a month, you may be able to update it. In 2 months, you may be able to update it again. I still update my portfolio. 13 years in, my work still improves, and it should keep improving. So as you get better, update your portfolio. And also, don't think about shooting a portfolio for free as shooting it for free. If you're doing this as a business, everything that you do has a value assigned to it, including your time. So if you're photographing a portfolio, that is time, that is value. Think about that time that you're spending on creating your sales material, your marketing material, your portfolio. That is marketing dollars, that is marketing time, that has value. The next two things are going to go hand in hand. So one, you need to get very active on social media and not just going, here's my photos. You need to let people get to know you. Social media has changed from when I started on it way long ago. It's now very much attention media. Everything has moved to short form video, and people's attention span with short form is very short. You need to be present. You need to be the face of the company. You need to be the voice of the business. So you have to get out there and let people get to know you. And you have to be you when you do it. You can't go on there and act like another photographer or do what you think you're supposed to do because you've seen another creator doing it. Be you. When you're talking to the camera, pretend you're just talking to another person. And if you don't know where to start with social media, I built a course, Short Form Video for Photographers. I'll put a link to it down below. You're welcome to buy that. This isn't a commercial. If you buy it and you find it useful, that's great. If you don't want to buy it, I don't care. Just know the resource is there. And yes, you have to show your work in your social media as well. So you can still do static posts showing your work, but you have to find other ways to get your work into your short form videos. There's a reason that I film all of my short form videos here so that my work is seen, and I find other ways to work it in. But I also make sure that I'm giving people value, getting to see me, getting to see what the business is about. And because of that, people already feel like they know me, and people buy from who they know, like, and trust. In conjunction with your social media is you have to have a good website. Your website needs to be clear. Your website needs to be concise. People need to know what they're getting as soon as they get there, and they have to know how to get it. It needs to be easy to navigate right out of the gate. And the reason those two things go hand in hand is because if somebody gets intrigued by your social media, they need to be able to get to your website. Those two things work together. The next part that works with the website is you have to get out and network. Network like crazy. And I don't necessarily just mean like networking events that you'll see a lot of chambers of commerce do, or, after work networking. And those can be fine, but it really only works if you're networking with where your ideal clients are, where the people who are going to be booking you are going to be. And when you go to a networking event, don't go into it going, how many business cards can I hand out? How many business cards can I collect? It's not how that works. It's about meeting people and building genuine relationships. Like if I go to a networking event, I will end up with business cards. I will bring those business cards back to the studio. I will find those people, if I'm going for headshots, I will find those people on LinkedIn. I will connect with them on LinkedIn. Now, anytime they post something, I interact with that post in some way. I'm not trying to sell them yet. I'm just like, it's a friendship. Hey, You know, you just got that promotion at work. That's awesome. Congratulations. It's that simple. It's about being human with people. And then when people are ready to buy, then you're top of mind. You'll be the one they think of when they need a headshot or a wedding photographer or whatever. Wherever you are marketing your business, build relationships with people. I do a lot of business-to-business networking as well. You know, for the boudoir side of the business, I have a relationship with a high-end lingerie store here in Louisville. I was just talking with my makeup artist about doing a collaboration with her and then a personal stylist in town who has a relationship with a boutique that might be great for my clients. So we will build those relationships. Think about it like planting seeds in a garden. Plant the seeds of the relationship, let it produce fruit. And then now that I've got people coming in, even if it's just for my portfolio people, the next thing you do is you ask for referrals like crazy. As I say to my clients all the time, it's like I can go out there and tell people how good I think I am all day long. It means so much more coming from people like you. And so much of my business now comes from referrals. You know, oh, I saw that you did Bill's headshot and he told me that I should come see you or whatever. That sort of, you can't beat that sort of marketing. Other people talking about you is gold. And think about it when you see things on social media and somebody goes, you know, oh, I need a plumber. I need an HVAC guy. And everybody jumps in with their recommendations because everybody likes being able to recommend their guy. I do it all the time. You know, the folks that did my roof constantly get referrals from me. The team that handles the HVAC systems, both here at the studio and my house, anytime somebody says they need an HVAC guy, like Quality Heating and Air, that's who you go to. You know, Austin's taken really good care of me. And the other thing you do that will help your business grow very quickly is every time you have a customer in, you ask for a Google review. Google reviews are gold for your business, especially in the age of AI. Because that is one of the things that the AI agents are looking at when it's considering who it's going to recommend. When somebody goes in and types in, I need a great headshot, who do I go to? It's going to look at the Google reviews or whatever branch of photography or small business that you run. You know, if say my makeup artist, somebody types in, you know, I need a great makeup artist, my makeup artist is going to come up. Now, obviously, this is the Cliff's Notes version of the things that you need to do and can do to help grow your business, but these steps are also to get you going, to get you on the right path. As you get into it, or as you start implementing these things to grow your business, you're going to adjust, you're gonna make changes, you're gonna find things that work for your business, you're gonna find things that don't work, and you have to be nimble, you can modify. But if you take some or all of the things that I talked about here, you will notice that it starts to grow your business. You start to build momentum. And hey, if you've made it this far and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, I'm not sure why not. And I've got a bunch of other videos on this channel that are educational. I have a personal vlog here that's gonna give you a behind the scenes look at not only what I do in the studio, but also real life stuff and how I try to balance real life and the business life so that I get to enjoy all of it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave those below. There's gonna be a whole lot more of these coming out very soon and in all the various kinds of videos that I do. So I'll see you in the next one.